Pass the baton from LeBron to AD. He was great in the finals. And then all of a sudden, he's hurt again. He's missed 5 games. LeBron leads the West in minutes. And I'm like, this is kind of LeBron's career. Just about the time he wants to pass the baton a little, it gets passed right back to him. What is your takeaway on AD's injury? Do you think there's frustration inside LeBron's camp or the Lakers' camp?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that there's frustration there. And by the way, never have I been so happy to see someone on TV and working as I am to see you, Colin. Your fill-in hosts are smart enough to have me on a regular basis, actually more than you do. But nonetheless, I'm very happy, overjoyed, actually, to see you back. AD, as far as the impact on LeBron, I actually think that this is an opportunity for LeBron when it comes to his MVP chances. One of the biggest reasons he wasn't MVP last year is because everybody looked at Giannis and said, well, he doesn't really have that number 2. There's people who thought that AD was actually the number 1 with the Lakers. And it points up, though, how lucky they were that they had the shutdown for 3 months and then had a sprint to the finish, because this is who AD is. He simply has difficulty staying healthy through the course of an entire season, and you don't know how much you're going to have him. Now, the downside, ultimately, is that over the next 2 weeks, they play 3 of the most efficient top 6 teams in the league, and defense is where they miss AD the most. But if LeBron wants to plant his flag and say, I'm in this MVP race, then he has an opportunity to do that over the next couple of weeks. And I'm, in the big picture, not buying that this is a long-term issue with Anthony Davis, because he just appears to be one of those guys. Vince Carter was one, Chris Webber's another, who, when they have some sort of injury, it looks as if they've been shot. And then whether it's a quarter later or a couple games later, they're dunking on guys again. So everything that I know about this injury, with him in particular, says to me he's going to take some time off, much as he did with the shutdown last year, but that he will be there when they need him at the end, and that's going to be enough for them still to get the job done. And meanwhile, LeBron gets to bolster his MVP run.
Kyrie tells James Harden, officially, dude, you're the point guard, I'm not. Your takeaway is what?
Kyrie pointing out the obvious. Rather than the unusual, like the earth is flat, he's pointing out the obvious. The truth of the matter is, Kyrie Irving has never really been a point guard,
right,
wherever he played. I know that's the position that may be listed on the roster, but the reality is he is a shooting guard. He's not a setup guy, per se. And so I appreciate the fact that he is recognizing reality and that he understands what his role is on this team. But it still is a matter of, when push comes to shove, is he happy being the shooting guard and the third option behind Harden and KD? And then the other aspect is, if you're a shooting guard, there's some pretty good guys that you're going to have to be matched up with defensively. And are you willing to put the effort in there? But overall, it's a positive sign, but it's kind of obvious. Yes, you're not the point guard, and you never really have been.
Couple minutes left. Chris Paul, to me, he's the anti-Westbrook. There's no flash, and he elevates everybody, and he wins everywhere. But he doesn't get a lot of love. Maybe inside the league he does, but even then, a lot of pushback from Clipper fans, Blake Griffin. Now I look at Phoenix, they've won 9 of 10. Of course they have, because Chris Paul's there. Why doesn't he get love, and are you surprised by how good Phoenix is suddenly?
Well, one of the reasons that he doesn't get love is that he can be a difficult teammate. You have to do it Chris Paul's way, in much the same way you have to do it LeBron's way. The difference is LeBron has delivered the payoff of, if I do it his way, I'm going to wind up with a ring. Chris Paul has not been able to deliver on that. That said, his demeanor and his approach are exactly what the Phoenix Suns needed, because they had an established superstar/star in Devin Booker. And they didn't have anybody who was willing to say, I'll make the decisions, Devin. I'm not going to concede to you. Rubio was good as a floor general last year, and it improved them, but he doesn't have the same personality that Chris Paul has in that we're going to do it this way, and I'm going to make the decisions. And that, I believe, is why he's had such a positive impact on the Suns and why I don't know how many people are considering him for MVP, but right now, with a ballot of 5, Chris Paul would be one of the 5 names on my MVP ballot.
That's interesting. All right, Bukes, good seeing you, buddy. Fox Sports.
And excellent seeing you, Colin.
Thanks. Appreciate that. Rick Bucher, I'll bring him on more regularly. That was a hint. I took that hint. By the way, of course LeBron can carry the Lakers from this point forward. That's not the issue. But this year, you don't get 2 things you got last year. Last year, we had the bubble. What did that mean? An older LeBron wasn't on a jet every night, so you could stay in your room and rest. We don't have that. So now LeBron doesn't get the advantage of the bubble. The second thing is that the pandemic shut down the league for several months. Again, massive rest for LeBron. We kept saying it last year in the bubble. God, LeBron's never played with this energy because he had 2 advantages. He wasn't on a plane, and he got 3 months off. So, yeah, at the end of last year, LeBron had this hyper energy that he hadn't had in years. We talked about it all the time. He was chasing guys down and blocking the ball. So now you got to put all these minutes in, and you're traveling every other night. You're flying across the country, and you're not getting a 3-week respite right in the middle of the season. So I think it's a lot to ask of LeBron in his 18th year. Hour 3 next.